Hello, everyone. Here we are, Tipsy Realtor season 5.
Season 5. Yes.
Season 5. And today we are here with Jordan from 2020 Home Inspections to teach you how to make a prickly pear Negroni, which I'm actually pretty excited about. It looks super good. And to talk about the little prick maintenance items that you should fix before you put your house up for sale or sell your house. So Jordan's here because who knows better than what are the little tiny maintenance items that he finds all the time in your home inspections that sometimes can cost you a deal or renegotiate. And I'll tell you, as a realtor, buyers will always estimate the value of the repair higher than if they were just to do it themselves. At least double.
Yeah. And actually, we both made notes because I already didn't know that Jordan was coming until last moment. But I honestly, because you guys do so many inspections for us throughout the year, I was like, what are the items that appear pretty much on every report? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like where I was thinking. So it's great. Like, you said, like I covered a lot of things on my list.
No, so you for sure have a lot of the stuff I was going to talk about. I was going to point the question back at you guys, what you see and what you tell your clients to prepare before your listings. And I think then the extension of that is preparing it before an inspection too, right?
Yeah. So, okay, well, let's start with the cocktail because that's the most fun. We can be serious anytime. All right. So the recipe is up on the screen and you can see. Now in the book, if you've got our Tipsy Realtor cocktail journal off Amazon, it says 30 millimeters, but 30 millimeters is 1 ounce. So we are going to start with a shaker full of ice. And then we are going to start with our Prickly Pear vodka, which is Eau Claire, local brewery or local distiller, which we always love to support. Yeah. Anna's clearing her throat because I just dribbled all over her counter. Park gin.
None of the stuff to stain.
I'm like, I can't look anymore. Like, I just keep mixing.
Clean your quartz countertops before your listings.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Oh my god. She's not even talker. She's just drink maker,
spilly talker.
Yeah.
All right. So we've put all of our ingredients in.
Sorry, what is this bottle? I didn't even look on the
Sweet vermouth.
Oh.
That's a new sweet vermouth that I got actually just over at Wine and Beyond. I got it last night actually. So yeah, so we got sweet vermouth, we got prickly pear vodka by Eau Claire, we got park gin, we got Campari, and now we are about to make our prickly pear Negroni.
Did they change the bottle? I feel like
no, because there's also they may have, but there's also Park. So there is Parks because there was Park vodka, which was different. But their
like
Park
gin
was
like
different.
To smell. It's like has like that pine smell to it.
The botanicals.
Yes, botanicals. I love that.
Cool.
Okay, and now after stirring it in the ice, we put it into our glass full of ice. And then we put our dehydrated orange on top of it, and there is our cocktail.
Well, I like my orange really getting in there, so it just gets more flavor.
There we go.
Cheers! All right, let's try this.
So we always have to tell everyone what we think of our cocktail.
And this is a prickly pear Negroni.
A prickly pear Negroni. So sometimes I've had the cocktails before. This one I have not. I do like it better than a normal Negroni because I'm not a Negroni person. So I actually don't mind this one.
The prickly pear really comes through. Yeah. Like, I actually quite surprised how much it comes through here. There's a, sophisticated tool.
We're not supposed to use it. Us home inspectors, we use our fingers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so this one, it's a sweeter Negroni. It's not as bitter.
Yeah.
Like, normally I don't like Negronis because I don't like the bitterness of Campari. Mm-hmm. But this actually I would probably have no problem drinking. But it's definitely a sipper. It's not a chugger.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Negroni fan, but it did take me quite some time to like Negroni because it is bitter. And but this is definitely on the lighter side. I like it. If you want a super manly drink, hence Movember, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're making it. But kind of almost a little bit ladylike. This is a good one.
That is a good one.
What do you think?
I think it's got a dash of masculinity and a dash of femininity too, right? What normally goes into just a regular Negroni? You'd have Campari, you'd have vermouth, and gin or vodka.
That's bourbon.
Is it?
I don't know.
See, I like personally more of a whiskey, bourbon kind of based cocktail. Not as big on the vodkas. I do like the gins, and you get that kind of botanicalness from the gin and the bitter from the Campari, which I like. I think a few acquired tastes in there, but I could drink these.
I could drink these. It's definitely, it would be a nice one for like a pre-dinner drink.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Or a post-dinner drink. It also actually would be really good to sit around like a campfire, stuff like that. Like it's a nice one that you would just slowly enjoy.
It is gin.
It is gin.
Yeah, gin
Campari
and
gin.
Yeah.
Do we call that a digestive? No.
Yeah.
Is
It could
it?
be a digestive.
Did I just make that up? I just threw that out there. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Look, he's such a sophisticated home inspector.
So sophisticated.
Yeah, and bitters.
And bitters.
Yeah.
Which we don't have the bitters in this one.
Yeah, so that's why probably also it's a little bit smoother. But the prickly pear, if you guys haven't had it, it has a little bit like a fruity taste to it.
Yeah.
And it's slightly sweeter, so that's kind of where we pick up a little bit of a different tone.
Mm-hmm.
And it is alcohol forward.
Oh,
very.
Well,
I like a boozy cocktail.
There is like 4 bottles on ice, no mix. Like, what give you away? It's gonna be not boozy, like, you know.
All right, so good cocktail, highly recommend. I would serve this to my husband.
Yes.
So he's not home right now, but when he gets home, he might get one.
It's a sophisticated cocktail.
Is that a good benchmark? If you would serve it to your husband, it's a good cocktail?
Yeah, okay. Generally. And it also means it's pretty manly. So if I'm serving it to Clint, it means it's a pretty manly cocktail because he's not the fruity, girly cocktail. Although I did have fun with, there was one I did called Poison, which I knew he wouldn't like, but I just wanted to give him a cocktail and tell him it was poison because it made me laugh.
Here you go, honey. Yeah, no, super awesome. No, definitely recommend. I like it. And what I like about those, even though it takes a lot of alcohol to make this, because it's a sipper, like for a dinner party, you can make few of those, and you kind of can chill by the fire, chat and slowly drink. You don't need to make a tub of it. Like you really need to have one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
well, let's chat about now all the fun things that you need to be aware and possibly repair before you start listing your home.
Okay, so Jordan, you asked us, what are the things that we tell our clients to repair? So generally when listing a house, I'll wander through the house with them, and definitely if there's any leaks, I'll suggest repairing those. If something's not working properly, like a toilet, deal with that. If downspouts are missing, I'll tell them to deal with those, get those in place, and have them pointing away from the house. I'll always ask them to get their furnace serviced before listing their house because it just makes their life easier to know that furnace is in good working order. And generally that would be about it. Unless their shingles are obviously in disrepair and have issues, then we'll talk about what they need to do about their shingles.
Mm-hmm. Is that something then, say the roof needs a repair, you guys are going to see that, buyers are going to see that, home inspectors are going to see that. Is that something that you recommend they take care of beforehand, or just throw it on the market, see what they get, and deal with those negotiations afterwards?
So in my scenario, generally it really depends on their financial capacity. So it depends on why they're selling the home. Are they selling their home because they need cash? Do they not have a lot of liquid cash? Do they have the capacity to have an insurance company do a claim and get the insurance company to repair? So it really depends on what's happening. The other big thing right now is getting their hail. If they can't get their hail damage repaired, that we've got it in a scenario where they've already made the claim and the insurance company is already on it. So those are the big things there. That's what I do.
Yeah, I mean, basically, before we're listing the house, we'll look through and say, what needs to be done cosmetically, right? Number one, because if I see it, most likely the buyers will see it or their realtor will see it, right? And yes, given being in industry for 18 years, 25 years for Robin.
You called me old.
Experience.
Experience.
And
yeah.
wise.
Oh, they got
Right?
it. I was like, oh my God, what's another word for old?
Mature.
Yeah, mature. We obviously would recommend things like, hey, paint touch-ups. I know you guys very good also making notes of all cosmetic things for the buyer. It's all very helpful because you do home inspection on one day and then you take possession or do walkthrough maybe sometimes 2 or 3 months later. So you try to match, see how much of those cosmetic issues you guys identify in home inspection matches your walkthrough, which is super valuable because that's kind of way you can dispute if there is quite a lot of like cosmetic damages to like paint from moving the furniture and things like that, right? So one of the things, flooring, like paint. I did have like a broken window screens on my list because you know what? I know for a lot of the things, it's not like a big item, but a lot of people have no idea how to replace window screens. So when they walk in and say like, "Oh, there's a screen damage," I have no idea when I'm gonna buy one, or maybe I have to make a custom. That becomes suddenly a very expensive item, right? And of course, landscaping. One thing I also noticed in the last couple of years, foundation issues. I don't know if this is something you find. Obviously, don't start obsessing about every little crack in your foundation because there's a hairlines. But if you have quite a few, or you notice you have quite a like bigger ones, definitely have an expert come out, take a look at it. Sometimes it's nothing, sometimes it's something, sometimes it's not as expensive as you think it is. But I was thinking, like, if you decide to go ahead and repair it because you don't want the buyer started thinking the worst, because like nothing is worse than water in your basement because you have a crack in your foundation. Get that repaired, keep the invoice, keep the report, because when that home inspector comes and says, "Oh, has been fixed," ask the seller. It's nice to have like, "Hey, yes, we did fix it. Here is everything that we've done." It actually increases the value and eliminates renegotiation after the home inspection.
Okay, so what do you find in all your home inspections?
So, I guess just to backtrack, I just wanted to thank you both for having me on. Thank you for the cocktail. This is really fun.
He's very excited about the Wednesday afternoon cocktail.
Wednesday afternoon cocktail, I guess my first podcast?
Well,
video?
yeah,
What do you call it?
I don't know. It's like it's a show.
It's a show.
It's a show.
I'm kind of new to all this, but it's really fun. So I think Robin and Anna, you both touched on a lot of stuff that we would normally find. I guess for anybody watching or listening, if you've never had a home inspection before, what we're going to come in and do is go top to bottom, outside to in. We are really there for the big stuff, things like roof, as you mentioned, things like foundation or structure. What does the exterior cladding look like? What is the general overall condition of the interior of the home? Your plumbing fixtures, running all the water, making sure there's no active leaks. What do the kitchen appliances look like? And all the mechanical appliances. So that would obviously be furnace, all the associated HVAC, the hot water tank and associated plumbing, the electrical panel and associated wiring and electrical and all that. So the things that we normally see, there's probably two really common ones that come up on really almost every home inspection, and I'll say them and you'll probably laugh a little, is attic hatches, right?
Really?
So what I call...
Really? On every one right
you're
now.
Right, it does, but you're right. I never would have thought of it. Attic hatches.
So
I actually have a question for you about that.
Okay,
You go ahead.
Sure.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Of course. Yeah. So even just popping your head up into the attic, even if you're not totally sure what you're looking for, you'd be looking for things like moisture staining or damage, microbial growth, which is effectively mold, right?
Yes.
And things like that. If it doesn't look like it should be there, if it's not part of the roofing assembly, the attic insulation, or the normal attic hatch, maybe you want to have those things cleaned up a little bit, because we're always going to go into the attic space. And if you've lived in a home for a number of years, have you ever been in your attic?
No, but I paid someone to spray insulation into my attic.
Yeah. So, but most people don't. Most sellers or homeowners have maybe never been in their attic space. So when I had mentioned attic hatch protections, that's going to be things like insulation in the attic hatch door and weather stripping around the attic hatch.
So when you go, usually it's in your like master bedroom closet, or sometimes it's in a hallway in upstairs, or like, if you're in a bungalow, it's in a hallway. You see that little thing on your ceiling, on the square, you don't know what that is. That is what he calls an attic hatch.
Exactly.
Yes, and when you pop the attic hatch and you look at what on inside of that square, If there is nothing on it, that means you have no insulation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So exactly, there's going to be we require attic access in all homes that have a ventilated sort of roof or attic space, right? As long as there's 30 inches or so of overhead clearance. So most traditional roofing assemblies, if it's kind of an A-frame, you're going to have an attic, and the hatch door is that sort of square or rectangular piece. When you kind of pop it open, you sort of gently set it down, make sure it doesn't slam down through the ceiling drywall. And on top of that hatch door, there should be insulation. So either rigid foam insulation or fiberglass bat insulation. It's to prevent sort of warm, humid air loss from the home through the attic, right? And then that weather stripping is just basically like a thin foam seal, self-adhering sealant that you would install on the trim.
And you can get this all at Home Depot or something?
It's a super simple fix. All at your regular home hardware store for $30, $40, $50, depending on it, right? And so it's a super simple thing that's going to come up on most home inspections.
I'm pretty sure 99% of home inspection you guys did this year and the last year, that was number one. And to be honest, I have not really seen that before. Is it something like new? Is it like a new code to have an insulation? Because I never remember seeing an attic hatch insulation so much on the report before.
No, it's been required for a while. It's at least been good building practice for a while. It's something that gets overlooked really often.
So isn't the new homes expected to have it?
Should be, yeah. You should have insulation and weather stripping, and that weather stripping seals the door to the trim and helps prevent warm, humid air loss from the home to the attic space, which can lead to moisture.
I had at least 3 sellers that had to meet that requirement this year.
And it's such a simple thing, right?
So should they look in the attic for anything else? You said microbials, moisture.
You see the black stuff? That's bad.
Yeah, if you're seeing microbial growth or mold, any sort of black speckled stuff, that could be mold, right? And that's something that could turn off a lot of buyers, right? Sometimes it's pretty minimal and it's localized just around that attic hatch area. If it's really pronounced, something that we deal with specifically in our climate is called attic frost or attic rain. Basically, it's excessive humidity gets into the attic space. When it's warm inside, it's cold outside. It's also cold in the attic, right? So you're going to have frost build up, which then we get a Chinook maybe, and it thaws out, creating a literal ecosystem in your attic, which is not good. So it's pretty rare to see extensive mold, but it can happen. And that would be something I'm sure that would turn off a lot of buyers, right? So looking for mold, moisture staining or damage, which could be indicative of that attic condensation or potentially even roof leaks as well. So those types of things, you want to make sure that your insulation is fairly good. Obviously, throughout the various decades of building practice, we've kind of increased how much energy efficiency and insulation depth we want, and it's a fairly simple thing to have blown in, right? So relatively cost effective, but if it's not too bad, maybe you can put that onto the buyers, right? As long as it doesn't feel like a deficient amount of insulation. So those things I wouldn't say necessarily need to be done prior to listing or inspection, but the attic hatch protection is super simple. Another really common one, loose toilets.
Yes.
Oh yeah, loose toilets, 100%.
How many inspections have come back with loose toilets? And usually, again, it's not a critical thing. It's just we want to protect the buyers from any potential future leaks, right? So, and a loose toilet is a really common thing that could leak. If it's too loose and it's moved around too much, it's going to potentially have deteriorated wax seal, and that could leak, causing quite a bit of damage, right? So,
and a lot of times you don't even know it's leaking because it's if you have hardwood, it's going underneath. And lino you can tell because it starts making the lino black because the back of the lino is paper and mold loves paper. So definitely. I have to tell you a story though, super quick about attics. So, what is the weirdest thing you've ever found in an attic?
Oh my God, is it like a joke?
No, I'm serious. What is the weird? I have 2 super weird things. So what is the weirdest thing that you ever found in an attic?
I've seen where I think it's kind of ironic. We're having an afternoon drink, but I've seen those little 6-shooters of vodka, just piles of bottles thrown in the attic space. I think somebody was probably a closet alcoholic in the house.
Fair enough.
So hopefully they got the help they need. Porno mags up in an attic space before. somebody said that they've seen like a shrine to somebody before in an attic space. Yeah, there's been some
Really?
weird stuff up there. What's the weirdest thing you've seen?
So I had a house in Calgary, and they had basically decayed squirrels and stuff. So squirrels had got into the attic and made it their home, and we found nests, and then like dead squirrels and stuff. So that was in Calgary. In Mississippi, this is my favorite story. My house in Mississippi was built in 1900, and the house has had a lot of additions and stuff like that. I found out after taking possession that I had 5 attics.
You've told me about this.
Yeah. I only had access to 2 of them, so I had to build attic access to the other ones. And then when I hit the 5th one, I'm like, I'm just not building an attic access to that because I've already put in multiple other attic access. And then I found out that there was no insulation whatsoever in my attics, which in Mississippi you're trying to keep the heat out and the cold in. And on top of it, I found a very large rodent trap, which luckily had nothing in it, but all the food was gone, which was concerning. But I was concerned as to why my home inspector missed the large rodent trap in my attic that he did have access to.
We didn't do the inspection.
They didn't do the
It was
inspection.
somebody else down in Mississippi.
But it was funny as hell because
Maybe he thought he sees this all the time. He's like, oh, this is totally normal.
Mm.
Like, I bet it's like, that like every house has a rodent trap in the attic.
Well, I would like to think
Didn't you said you had some unwanted visitors there, like the animal cement?
Oh my goodness! Well, so
Yeah.
just speaking of pests, at my cabin in the Crow's Nest Pass, a bunch of holes started coming up in my ground.
Yes.
So it's not voles; it's some type of ground squirrel, a burrowing ground squirrel. So they're trying
Get
to
a cat.
No, I just got pest control. But it's funny about the attics because attics, that is the weirdest thing I've ever found in an attic is animal carcasses along with nests. And the fact that in my own attic in Mississippi, there was a large rodent trap, which was concerning.
Well, we do see, maybe not the large rodents here, but I've seen evidence of squirrels in attic spaces, evidence of mice, evidence of birds. I think typically pigeons can get up there, right? So that's just making sure that any exterior gap, vent, penetration in the roof or the exterior assembly is filled and sealed properly or has a proper vent cover on it so that pests can't get up in there, because I'm sure that could be another thing that would turn off buyers is seeing that evidence of pests up there, right?
Well, that's actually, yes. You guys did a home inspection on one of the acreages a couple months ago, and Jason comes out and he's like, how do you feel about cats? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm a client positive. I was like, he's like, but on the acreage, you kind of almost expect that you're going to have some. Yeah. So they're like, no problem, we'll get a couple. I'm like, oh my God, because like my heart just dropped. How do you feel about cats? Like, oh my God.
Acreages, we always see evidence of rodents. So
absolutely.
Good pest control, good exterior maintenance, having traps on the outside, maybe cats in an acreage situation, traps on the inside as a preventative, and then maybe pre-listing or pre-inspection, cleaning up any signs of pests, rodent droppings, and being kind of prepared to disclose stuff
does come up a lot. People who put out preventative rodent control and then never pick it up, buyers will assume you have rodents.
You have rodents, Same thing goes for like a smell control. If you're like a smoker or you had a house that was smell funny from the days and you put like one of those like
air freshener.
Oxidized whatever things that they capture the smell. Anyway, any of those are not sexy. Nobody wants it.
All right, so we are now at the end. We're the first show of November, which means this is the show where we give away our big prize, which is this fabulous decanter shaped like a gun, which we're giving away to go with November. Would you like to be our Vanna? Vanna.
Okay.
Look
and
at
it comes
that.
in a really cool, sexy gift box too, guys. What I like about it, if you win it and you don't know what to do with it, well, it's a perfect re-gift.
That's a pretty cool decanter. Like, come on, if you were like
seriously,
pouring people their whiskey and their bourbon out of a gun.
Exactly.
So, and I also made my Wheel of Fortune black and white, super manly.
Nice.
Yeah. So. It sounds like there's a lot of people who really want it because there's like I think there are like 2 or 3 names that came up at least like 6 or 7 times. So thank you for playing to win.
And so you get to enter your name by liking and sharing our show on any one of the social medias of Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, any one of those.
Yeah,
like or
I
share
check
our show.
all the social media and enter your name as many times it's popping. So it's going now. Ooh, let's see.
The suspense.
Who won?
Oh, Ray Weber.
Nice.
All
Ray
right, I'll
Weber.
Ray, we're gonna contact you. I am sure one of your kids would love it. Unless Ray will be like, she's more a wine drinker, but I know Rachel is like just not.
But you know
5
what?
minutes
For
away.
Ray, even if you don't want to keep it, Ray, it is a great, amazing gift that you can also give to someone for Christmas, which is why we're trying to give away these extra special gifts over November, December, so that if you do want to amalgamate them into your Christmas gifts, you can. But for next month, we are giving away this smoking kit. So a whiskey smoking kit. It'll come with the ice cubes, the gun, the...
I'm going to create like a virtual personality because I want to win.
So this is all going to come for next month. Like and share our show. You can definitely do it on any of our social medias. So please feel free to go on to our YouTube channel.
It will make a great Christmas gift because you guys are going to win that at the beginning of December. So keep your eye on it. And if you know somebody who would love that cocktail and you know it's going to be a perfect gift, it will make a nice Christmas gift.
But also, too, is, you know what? You can keep it for yourself, too.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, not everybody likes this, you know, the complexity of smoking. I will probably make somebody to do it for me just because I don't like the high maintenance drinks.
Of course.
But no, I might. Yeah.
There you go.
But I want to actually also raise an awareness. So it is November, it is Movember, and it's important to remember that it's an important month in men's life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's just an awareness, I guess, for us, right? We're not doing fundraising, but I will try to grow some mustache.
But what's important too is prostate cancer is an actual real circumstance that unfortunately a lot of people come to, and it is important to remember to get tested and screened for prostate cancer. It is the month to make those awareness. There are cancers that are specifically male dominated and male oriented that men do need to get checked for, and when they're going through it, it's real. It's traumatizing. Cancer is a horrible disease. And men do have ones that are specific to them. So it's important. It is also important, too, to remember the men and women who sacrifice their lives over Remembrance Day to allow us to stand here today and teach you how to make cocktails and buy real estate.
That is so true. Way to finish on beat note. But so anyway, it's a month of manly drinks and manly topics. You guys can.
Speaking of manly.
Yes. What is it?
What are we
doing next week? What are we doing?
Fire and Ice, Battle of Alberta. My favorite topic. So not only did I go and watch our Calgary Flames be decimated by the Edmonton Oilers the other day, but we are going to talk about the benefits.
You sound pretty excited.
Because I love the Battle of Alberta. I'm a born and raised Calgarian, man. Like, this is a real thing. But we're going to teach you and talk about the benefits of living in Calgary versus living in Edmonton and their real estate markets and how they differ. So that is our Battle of Alberta.
I feel like we
for
should
next
have
week.
like a realtor from Edmonton.
Oh, I got realtors from Edmonton. I'm sure they drive down for a drink.
There needs to be a proper debate. Right?
Oh my God.
We can't just
You know what's
roast
actually
Edmonton.
funny? I was just telling my daughter how important debate was as an option, and I was hoping she'll get it next year at school because the options come out every like one of a quarter. I was like, debate is really what teaches you to speak. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It teaches you to be eloquent. It teaches you to put sentences together. It stops you, well, it prevents you from public speaking, and put like a nice, concise sentences. You know, instead of being super broad, you're concise. Because that she's a bad speaker, but she mumbles sometimes. And you like don't understand what she's speaking. I was like, do you do presentations like that? You need to go and debate so you can stand there and talk on any topic that you have to talk. Obviously, she needs to take after me.
Totally.
But anyway, I think it's really cool. There is going to be a big differences between Calgary and Edmonton, and it might some of you shock you.
Yeah, and actually you might be surprised where your best dollars are going to be spent if you're looking from an investment standpoint, the biggest growing markets.
Put a twist in that.
I know. So, next week we will see you for the Battle of Alberta, but until then, please stay safe, drive safe, be safe, drink safe, and of course, if you're looking at buying or selling a house in Calgary or surrounding areas, your friend, your family, your coworkers, anyone you know, whether you like them or don't, please refer them to us. We would love to help them out.
And of course, thank you, Jordan, from 2020 Home Inspections for joining us today.
Honestly,
thank you very much.
Best home inspectors ever. They are so amazing.
Yes.
So please, make sure you call 2020. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.